What would you do if you discovered the company you built was being run by fear, disrespect, and cruelty? When Nathan Sterling, CEO of a successful grocery chain, heard rumors about customer mistreatment, he didn't just sit back. He went undercover. What he found was far worse than he imagined. If you want to know how the story unfolds, follow me and stay tuned. Nathan Sterling, a self-made entrepreneur and the CEO of Sterling Fresh, had spent years building his grocery chain from the ground up. From a small, community-oriented store, his company expanded to a dozen locations across the state, becoming a household name. But recently, customer complaints had surged, reports of long lines, rude employees, and most concerningly, instances of elderly customers being mistreated. Nathan had always prided himself on fostering a customer-first approach, ensuring that everyone who entered his stores felt valued. But as the complaints mounted, he realized that corporate reports weren't telling him the full story. A spreadsheet filled with sales numbers and satisfaction ratings could never fully capture the everyday reality of his stores. He needed to see it for himself. Determined, Nathan devised a plan. He would go undercover as a regular employee in one of his lowest-performing stores. If there was a problem in the company culture, he was going to find it firsthand. Disguising himself was easier than expected. He grew out his usually well-trimmed beard, let his hair get slightly disheveled, and traded in his tailored suits for a simple, slightly wrinkled polo and khaki pants. He completed the look with thick-rimmed glasses and a name tag that read Noah Carter. The store he chose was notorious for its high employee turnover and frequent customer complaints. Located in a suburban area, it was managed by Frank Dawson, a longtime employee whose leadership had come into question. On paper, Frank's store was struggling, but he always managed to maintain just enough control to avoid getting flagged by upper management. On his first day, Samantha Ellis, the assistant manager, greeted him. She looked exhausted, deep bags under her eyes, her uniform slightly wrinkled from what appeared to be long, grueling hours. "The registers freeze sometimes, so be patient," she sighed. Then, she hesitated before adding, "And if you hear Frank say something, just ignore it." Nathan raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" Samantha looked around, as if making sure no one else was listening. "Just don't get on his bad side. Trust me." Nathan knew right then that the store's problems went deeper than just slow registers. As Nathan worked his first shift, he observed the store dynamics. The employees weren't lazy, they were afraid. Cashiers worked quickly, their eyes darting toward Frank's office door as if expecting him to barge out at any moment. The stock clerks moved hurriedly, avoiding unnecessary conversation, as if afraid of appearing idle. Then, Frank made his entrance. A heavy-set man with a permanent scowl, Frank stomped onto the floor, his presence causing an immediate shift in the atmosphere. Employees stiffened, conversations died, and a palpable tension filled the air. Nathan watched as Frank hovered near the registers, his eyes scanning the employees like a predator surveying its territory. That's when an elderly woman approached, moving slowly with a small basket of groceries in her frail hands. She carefully placed her items on the conveyor belt, counting out her change with trembling fingers. Frank let out a loud, exaggerated sigh. "Here we go again," he muttered under his breath. Nathan frowned. "Everything all right?" Frank scoffed. "These old folks take forever. They count their pennies, ask the dumbest questions, and hold up the line. I swear they should have their own damn store." Nathan's stomach twisted. The elderly woman heard him. Her lips quivered as she fumbled with her purse, her hands shaking. "I am sorry," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. "I just need a moment." Frank gave a fake smile. "Take your time, ma'am," he said, voice dripping with sarcasm. Then, under his breath, he muttered, "Not like anyone else has places to be." Nathan clenched his jaw, his fists tightening at his sides. He looked around. No one spoke up. Samantha, standing nearby, gave him a look of quiet apology and fear. She knew what had just happened, but she also knew that speaking up against Frank came with consequences. Nathan finished ringing up the woman's groceries, carefully placing them in her cart. "Take your time, ma'am," he said sincerely. "No rush at all." The woman offered a weak smile and shuffled away, her head lowered. Frank laughed under his breath. "You'll learn, kid. These seniors are a waste of time." Nathan wanted to confront him right then and there, but he needed to see just how deep this issue ran. Nathan continued working, making careful observations. What he found was a store drowning in toxicity. Employees who didn't laugh at Frank's jokes were given erratic, unfair shifts. Older employees and quieter workers were treated the worst. Samantha was single-handedly running the store, while Frank took credit for everything. During the break, Nathan sat in the employee lounge, pretending to check his phone. That's when he overheard two cashiers whispering. "I can't do this anymore," one muttered. "Frank cut my hours again." Meanwhile, his buddies get full shifts. The other cashier sighed. "Yeah, and did you hear what he said to Mrs. Thompson earlier? She's been shopping here for years. He told her to just shop online instead of wasting space." Nathan's fists clenched under the table. He had seen enough. The next morning, Nathan wasn't just Noah the cashier. He was Nathan Sterling, the CEO. He stormed into Frank's office without knocking. Frank looked up, startled. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" he snapped. Nathan removed his glasses and pulled off his name tag. "I'm Nathan Sterling," he said, his voice like steel. "And I own this company." Frank froze. His face turned pale. Nathan leaned in. "You're fired." Nathan didn't just fire Frank. He rebuilt trust. Samantha became interim manager, someone who truly cared about the employees and customers. Schedules were made fair, no more favoritism. Employees were given respect and a voice, ensuring no one was afraid to speak up again. Nathan implemented regular undercover visits across all stores, ensuring that this never happened again. The employees, at first hesitant, slowly realized that things were changing. Customers noticed the difference. For the first time in years, the store felt alive again. Before leaving, Nathan turned to Samantha. "Think you can handle it without me breathing down your neck?" She smirked. "I think I can manage." Nathan smiled. "Good. I'll be checking in regularly. No more running this company from a distance." As he walked to his car, he glanced back at the store. It wasn't perfect yet, but it would be. Final message: leadership is about respect. Nathan had learned an invaluable lesson. Leadership isn't about power, it's about respect. If you believe in treating people with kindness and dignity, subscribe for more stories like this. And if you've ever faced a toxic work environment, share your experience in the comments. Your voice matters. The lessons we learn. 1. The importance of ethical leadership. This story reminds us that leadership is not just about running a business. It's about creating an environment where employees and customers are treated with dignity and respect. Nathan realized that neglecting workplace culture can lead to serious consequences. 2. Speaking up against injustice. Samantha and the employees had remained silent out of fear, but change only happens when we stand up for what is right. This story teaches us that even one person standing against injustice can make a difference. 3. Customers deserve respect. Every customer, regardless of age, background, or spending habits, deserves basic human kindness. Frank's attitude toward elderly customers was cruel and unacceptable, proving that a lack of empathy can destroy a company's reputation. Personal reflection. This story serves as a powerful wake-up call for anyone in a leadership position. Whether you manage a small team or an entire corporation, treating people with fairness and respect should always be a priority. No company can thrive if its foundation is built on fear and neglect. If you believe in standing up for fairness, respect, and ethical leadership, make sure to subscribe to our channel, Story Precious. We bring you inspiring real-life stories that remind us of the importance of integrity and kindness. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest videos. If you've ever witnessed workplace injustice, share your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice matters.